All right, good evening, everybody. Happy Sunday night. First weekend of summer now in the books, and it wasn't bad. We had a sunny day today, had a couple of showers yesterday to kick off the weekend, but now we're looking at a mostly clear sky, and that's how things stay for the next 7 days. But we will have a couple of rain chances here and there, which we'll talk more about. A lot like yesterday when we just saw a couple of passing showers in the late afternoon and evening. That's kind of what's in store in the next couple of days. By the way, if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. I'm meteorologist Ryan Shoptaugh with here at Kent's 5. And we're just going to be breaking down the forecast, what to expect, showing weather across the state. If you have any questions about, weather in your neighborhood or weather in a different city, if you're traveling anywhere across the state, across the country later this week, we can always dive deep into detail about that and just talk all things weather for the next 20 minutes or so. We'll be on Kent's 5 News at 10 in about 45 minutes. So until then, we'll be live just chatting about weather. So again, if you have any questions, comment down below, join the conversation. It was the first Sunday, first weekend of summer, and today's numbers right on the money for daytime highs. 93 is average, and today's official high at the airport was 93 degrees. The morning low is slightly above the average, but hey, not bad. The typical morning low bottoms out at 74. San Antonio was at 77 earlier this morning, so not bad at all. Look at the records, both the cold temperature and the high temperature record, right? So back in 1906, we hit 101 on this day in history. That's the the daily record for San Antonio for this specific day, June 22nd. So back in 1906, June 22nd, we hit 101. Back in 1912, we hit 63 for a morning low. So that's the coolest, so not bad. June typically is where we turn the corner, right? We see temperatures really start to trend upward. Now, so we were talking about the possibility at seeing more rain. It's not going to be a lot, but here's the trend going forward. A southeast wind will continue to help carry a couple of these coastal showers farther inland. It's not going to be a lot of rain, but if we're lucky, a lot like how we were lucky yesterday between like 3 p.m. and 7 p.m., that's kind of what's in store for the next couple of days. Just coastal showers, and some of those will eventually make their way to our area. And whether it's over your neighborhood, over your area, whether you're driving, you run into a downpour, the chances that happening and the coverage of rain in the area is going to range from 20 to 30%. So it's not going to be a lot of rain, and it's not going to be a widespread soaking rain. But if you're lucky enough to get one underneath one of these downpours, it could be heavy at times, producing some lightning and thunder and things like that. Okay, long summer days. Back on Friday, that was technically the longest day of the year, but our sunset's probably around 8:35, 8:40. I want to make sure. Hold on. I think I actually have that data right here. Sunset 8:37 tonight. So, mid to late June is typically when we see the latest sunsets. So it's around 8:37, 8:38. So enjoy this time of year. Because, in December and January, later on throughout the year, we're going to complain about the shorter days. We love the longer days, especially when the sun sets around 8:30, 8:45 time frame. But yeah, that's a look outside. It is a mostly clear night, especially over at Morgan's Wonderland Camp. What you're seeing on radar right now in northeast San Antonio, that's just clutter and even some of the bats emerging out of the caves. You can see that very briefly right here. So between 281, I-35, Garden Ridge towards Texas 46, there are a couple of bat caves out there. And at night, this happens most evenings, where the radar will pick up some of the radar returns as the bats fly and emerge into the sky and outside their caves. So like right here, so it's 9:17 right here. That looks like a shower or a thunderstorm, but it's actually bats coming out of the cave just northwest of Garden Ridge and east of Timberwood Park, east of 281. Again, this happens every evening, and it's just something you kind of get used to when you live here in San Antonio. We had a couple of showers earlier this evening out towards like Hondo and northern Medina County, but notice it is bone dry right now. Remember, the coastal showers that we're expecting and we saw this past weekend, they develop with the heating of the day. So between about 2 o'clock and 7 p.m. is the best time to see those showers. If you don't see it, you'll see sunshine, you'll see clear skies. But after about sunset, you lose the heating of the day. It cools down, and you lose the fuel, the oomph for these showers and storms. So they just decay, they die off. And that's why we're seeing a mostly clear sky, no rain on the radar tonight. All right, better not get, well, Joe, it's going to get hot. It's going to get hot. Mid to late June is when we typically start seeing like our first triple-digit day. We don't have any of that expected. That's good, but man, the hottest time of year technically is like late July and early August. So we're not, we're only in the lower 90s these next 7 days, but expect even hotter temperatures, unfortunately. All right, thank you for the update for Sonia. Thank you. Absolutely, Sonia, you're very welcome. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, temperature 85 in San Antonio, 91 at Del Rio, 91 at Eagle Pass, 81 at Beeville. Here's what we can expect tomorrow. If you have the day off, if you're hanging out with family, friends, either at the pool or out in the backyard, high temperatures, mid-90s, going to be a partly cloudy, sunny day. A little breezy at times, 15-mile-an-hour winds at times, near 20, not bad. The UV index tomorrow will be at about 11, so it'll be extreme. So that only requires like 15, 20 minutes of your skin being unprotected without sunscreen or sunblock to burn. So the burn time, 15, 25 minutes. So if you are spending a long amount of time outside, whether that's at the pool or if you're working, or if you got anything going on outdoors, 1, drink water, 2, apply sunscreen and sunblock, because June, July, August, the burn time is so fast because the UV index is so extreme. 13 is like maxing out on the UV index, like 13, 14 or so. So we're at 11 tomorrow, so we're getting up there. We're getting up to that extreme level for the UV index rays that can really irritate and burn skin. So here's what's going on. We have a huge ridge of high pressure out to the east. So this entire ridge is causing like intense heat for the eastern half of the United States. If you have any friends or family in like Mississippi, towards Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, towards the Carolinas, underneath this big blue H is just a lot of sinking air. And when air sinks, it warms up rapidly. It causes compressional heating. And what that just translates to is just a lot of hot air. So where that huge ridge of high pressure is just leading to a lot of probably record challenging heat for that part of the country. So that's where the intense June heat is going to be for these next 7 days. It's not going to get anywhere near Texas. Obviously, it's still hot in Texas and San Antonio, like lower to middle 90s. It's still pretty hot, but that's actually seasonal. That's typical average highs for San Antonio, for South Central Texas. But notice with this particular setup, we have this ridge out east, and it's channeling in a ton of moisture in our direction. And some of that is translating to a couple of thunderstorms out in East Texas earlier today. We mention this because that means the door is open for more coastal showers that move in from the Gulf and move towards Houston, move towards San Antonio and Central Texas. And that keeps our rain chances at least around. It's not like 100%, but as you saw, like 20, 30% coverage on rain in the late afternoon, early evening hours. And on top of that, it's also ushering in like this plume of deep tropical moisture, which is just the fuel in the tank we need for these afternoon, evening isolated showers. Even the computer model guidance suggests at least some rain between tomorrow and about Friday. It's not going to be a ton of rain. It's not going to be flooding rains. But, while these will mostly be coastal showers between Corpus Christi, Victoria, Goliad, Kennedy, Yoakum, towards Houston, Galveston, some of those showers, even though they form along the coast, a lot like yesterday, they could survive a trip towards San Antonio in the I-35 corridor and easily drop 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of rainfall. Is that going to be everywhere? No, but if you are lucky enough to get caught under one of these downpours, it'll be heavy, producing some lightning and thunder. So here it is. Tomorrow morning, it's going to be a partly cloudy sky. Tomorrow afternoon, high temperatures, lower to middle 90s. Notice very closely, 2 o'clock to about 5 p.m., there will be 1 or 2 showers around. Notice everywhere is seeing a sunny sky. It's clear, it's hot, highs 90s. But you can see as we fast forward through time, 3 and 4 o'clock, we'll see a couple of these hit or miss coastal showers eventually move towards Pearsall, Pleasanton, Floresville, Seguin, San Antonio, Bernie, San Marcos, Gonzales. And, if your neighborhood, if your car is underneath that one downpour, it could be a moderate to heavy downpour that lasts for like 10 to 15 minutes, and that's it, right? These showers, they form, they build, and then they rain out, and then they just go away, they dissipate. So they don't last any more than 15 minutes. We call these popcorn showers in the afternoons in the summertime because they're driven by daytime heat, so the hot air rising, the humidity all combines to just a pop-up shower, a popcorn shower, and it can just be over one small area of San Antonio, of Seguin. You'll see sunshine in one direction, and then you'll see a tall, dark cloud, ominous cloud that's producing rain and some lightning in the other direction. It just happens this time of year a lot in the summertime. So here's the 14-day, every single day we will have an opportunity at some of those popcorn, yeah, I know, popcorn, isolated showers in the area. Best time to go biking on Monday from Sonia, I would say morning or late evening, but primarily the morning when you get more sunshine coming in throughout the day and the temperatures aren't too bad. Yeah, so primarily the morning for biking or any outdoor plans in general. If you're going out for a walk, run, biking, any outdoor activity that makes you sweat, do it in the early morning hours because, all these temperatures aren't bad. Lower to middle 90s. You factor in the humidity, it feels like 100 degrees outside. The breeze is okay here and there, especially in the afternoon and evening. But it's still hot. I mean, this is still seasonal heat, and June can bring, heat exhaustion, heat stroke. These daytime temperatures, if you're spending a long amount of time outside and you don't drink water, you don't drink enough water, and if you're not taking breaks enough and you're not finding shade, heat exhaustion will happen. So please take breaks, find shade when you can, drink plenty of water, stay hydrated, keep a bottle of water at arm's reach because while we're not looking at hundreds, that's good. It's still hot. 94 degrees tomorrow, 93 Tuesday, and 92 on Wednesday. Download the Kents 5 app. We'll have rain chances through the next week or so. Again, not widespread and no severe weather is expected. But anytime we get any rain events, we have looping radar, radar updates, push notifications, alerts on any severe weather, strong storms that enter the area, and you'll have the first look at some of these weather updates here on the Kents 5 app. If not, no worries. Download it today. Tomorrow, 94, 93 on Tuesday with a couple of showers here and there. Primarily between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. is when those popcorn isolated showers will form. This is, again, all driven by daytime heat. Summertime does this. The hot air completely fuels these isolated downpours that enter our area. Today it was mostly out west between Hondo, Highway 90, Bandera. Today it wasn't really much in San Antonio, but yesterday we saw a couple of those passing popcorn showers. And that is definitely a possibility through this upcoming week. As we wrap up June and July begins next Tuesday. July 4th is that next Friday. July 4th falls on a Friday this year. That's going to be fun, and it looks like it'll be mostly quiet. It's going to be a hot day for July 4th, a high of 94. It doesn't look like the weather changes vastly by the early part of July, just from what we're seeing right now. But of course, things could change later this weekend as we get more data in. Otherwise, enjoy a seasonal, typical June pattern as we enter the last full week of June. July begins next Tuesday, and temperatures not bad in the lower 90s.